Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to our morning service. I'm Etsuko Mikame. I'm a minister of this church, Sanbujo Buddhist Church, Betsuin. Before we begin this morning service, just a reminder that there'll be no food or drinks in the hondo in this main hall, and please turn off your cell phones before the service begins. Thank you. Okay, do we have any who is here for the first time? Could you raise your hand if so? Okay, everybody's are here. Okay. All right. So we'll begin this morning's service with Sanbujo on page 24 in the large service book, followed by suture chanting Junirai, page 20 in the small book, small Dharma school service book, and page 67 in a large service book. 24 and 67. Okay, 24, page 24 for the Sanbujo, and then 67 for the Junirai, for this bigger one. Okay. Namandap.
Yo, me, yo, sa, ke, yo, sha, yo, sa, yo, je, o, yo, yo, 사 쇼금요 아미가세요
Okay. So now please rise for Gatha. Long ago in India, on page 65 in the small service book, this Dharma school service book, page 65. And please remain standing for the three treasures, page 3 in this small Dharma school service book. Okay, thank you.
Long ago in India, a little babe was born, and all around were pretty flowers to greet that glorious morn. Far away in India, this babe began to grow, and all around were happy sights, so pain he did not know. Long ago in India, he studied hard from all. He learned so well, he soon became the greatest prince of all. Far away in India, the prince went out to see the city and its inhabitants, and felt deep sympathy. Long ago in India, the prince decided to go and seek the way to save us all from pain and birth and death. found the truth, and now he's Buddha wise and kind, who shows the way to peace. Will you please join now in the reading of the three treasures on page 3 in the Dharma School Service Book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you. Please be seated.
Now, our minister, Rinban Sakamoto, will give this morning Dharma talk.
I'd like to begin with a reading from the collection of letters written by Daniel, and this is from the second letter, and in it he writes, "Whenever you say the Nembutsu, whether walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, you should remember that this is the Nembutsu to express your gratitude for the benevolence of Amida Tathagata. Then you are called practicers who attain true and trusting heart and whose birth is settled." Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning. Welcome to this morning service. It feels like I've not been in this place, well, in this position here for a very long time. Last week, was that Humble? Was I here? Where was I? I can't remember. So one weekend we were up in Humboldt, one weekend, Larry's pointing here. What was here? Huh? I was sitting here? Oh, on that side. Oh, so I was here. But obviously, I wasn't here. This passage from Daniel's writings, it's often quoted that that the Nembutsu is the Nembutsu of gratitude, reminding us that no matter what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're engaged in, it is always the Nembutsu of gratitude for the compassion of Amida Buddha. This letter, however, ends with a postscript, and it was the postscript that I was really looking for, that I wanted to share with you. Then I was reading through the entire letter, and I thought, I better read the section that I read, because it's really more important. Because in this postscript, Daniel writes, and it's written in the form of verse, so I think it's a poem that he must have written, and there's probably more a meter to it than what's expressed here in the English translation. But he writes, "The sweat streaming down my face on this hot day is indeed tears. The smudged brushwork, how strange this must look." And this is the 18th day of the 7th month, 3rd year of Bummei. So it's 1471. The 18th day of the 7th month, 3rd year of Bummei. so 1471. It was in the middle of summer that he was writing this, and I can imagine him sitting there. He didn't have, like we have, well, our air conditioning is not really working fully at this point, but much more comfortable than it used to be. You remember when Obon services were so hot? We tried to open the windows to cool the hondo down, but in opening the windows, it let more hot air in. So it really did, if anything, it did provide a bit of a breeze through the hondo that kind of maybe cooled us down a little bit. But I imagine Daniel sitting over, paper, fude in hand, writing these thoughts down and adding this last verse to his writing. When we think of the people of in Jodo Shinshu that are important to our tradition, people like Daniel and people like Shinran and Eshinni, Kakushinni, and then all of the Rusushiki, initially Rusushiki and then the Monshu of our tradition. When we start out, the tradition of the Monshu, when it started out, and as you can see, hanging here on the wall is our current Monshu. There's a lot of glare on that, and we keep thinking we got to change that, maybe have a larger portrait or something. But he is the current Monshu of our tradition, so he's the religious head of our tradition. He lives in his quarters, his home behind the main hondo in Kyoto, Japan. But he is a descendant of Daimyo. Daimyo is the 8th Monshu. And when we think of these individuals, I think growing up, we often thought of them as living this kind of a idyllic life. I mean, after all, they're religious leaders, so they must know everything, and so they have this ability, or they have this skill, or have this knowledge to live a life that's wonderful and without any hardships. But actually, when you think about it, when you read through some of their works, you get more of context of their lives. That the life that they lived was not as idyllic as we might think. I think internally, and that's what's being expressed in these writings, that internally they were certainly settled, but that was reflected in the way that they engaged the world, how they lived that, when and where they lived. But when and where they lived was not idyllic around them. There were all kinds of things going on that would have caused great hardship. For Daimyo, he was being chased around Japan for a while. His influence in the society and the community that he lived in often exerted so much influence that it competed with the established government of Japan. And so there were times when Daimyo was literally being chased across. He was escaping from the forces that were intent on capturing him. He settled in the Japan seaside, and even there, he did not encourage the uprisings, ikoiki, but there were people that learned from him what it meant to be, a human being, and to be able to express the importance of that, that as a human being, we have a place, that each individual is worthy and should not be subject to the will of another person or the abuse of another person. And those kinds of things were going on in the little towns that dotted the coastline, where farmers were being, their crops were being taken as like a tithe or a tax. You have to give us this much, or will come and destroy whatever you have. And all of these kinds of hardships that the everyday people were being subject to, they found in Shinnan's, in Daniel's words, the strength to acknowledge the humanity, their humanity, and to be able to express that in a way that contradicted what the governors or the mayors or the military people around them expected of them. So in Shinnan's time, of course, I talked about it many times, about the Genpei War that took place in that same period of Shinnan's life, a period of great transition from into the Kamakura period, where the battle of the Taira and Minamoto families fought to establish authority over the Japanese, over Japan. And the outcome of that was the establishment of the Kamakura period, Kamakura government, the 10th government, and the Bakufu in Kamakura. But tremendous turmoil. And in addition to that war that was going on, were famines. There was a famine that was so deep that it brought that war to a halt. There was not enough food, people to go around and fight this war. And so we brought it to a stop. And this was 1181 to 1185. Shinran lived in 1172 to 1262. So it's in that time frame, right? There's tremendous upheaval in society and in government. So the life that they lived, I mean, we take a look at their their writings, and we kind of hear in that this sense of serenity, perhaps, or the strength that these individuals had. And yet they lived in this time of great turmoil. As Shinni's letters as well, she spoke of how after she and Shinran decided that she would return to Etsuko and he would go to Kyoto, she wrote to her daughter letters. Kakushini stayed with Shinran, and after his death, and we have letters of Shinni, but she talked about how they were affected by the famine of that time, and how she was responsible for people in her care, not just her family, but the people who worked the property that she was responsible for, and she felt responsible for the people that were there as well. And so again, the hardships that these individuals went through did not break or did not diminish that strength, that understanding that they had. In this letter, which Daniel wrote, expressing, gratitude. How can we talk about gratitude when there's all of this chaos going on around us? What is there to be grateful for? And sometimes we think, well, everyday kinds of things things that we receive. And you think about Lanai, not Lanai, but Lahaina, Maui. What a tremendous tragedy. So much was destroyed in that fire. The homes, certainly, of the people who were living there on that property, but the history of Lahaina is now uncertain. What has happened? There was a museum there that had collected the history of Lanai, of Lahaina. And Lahaina was the seat of government for Hawaii for a very long time, through the kingdom of Hawaii until the Europeans came in and eventually took over Hawaii. But it was there in Lahaina that this museum kept this history, and the curator of that museum was helping people to be able to receive their land back, land that had been taken from them, but to work through channels to be able to have that property or that land returned to them. But that's all gone. It's all, and he said that information is now gone. It's the only place that information is located is in his head, and somehow they'll have to try and remake what that history was. How can there be anything to be grateful for in Lahaina? So many lives lost, so many individuals affected by the loss of property, of family and friends, to be displaced from Lahaina. But I think if we look at it from our perspective, it's hard to say, well, this is what you should be grateful for. But looking from the outside, there is this, even here in the Betsuin, people are responding to the need. People are gathering resources, putting together projects to help collect funds and then to transfer that funds to the Hawaii Kyodan, so that they may be able to help the people in Lahaina and on Maui. There were other fires on Maui as well. But there is a awareness of the shared humanity that we are a part of. And I think when Daniel or Shinran or Eshini writes these things down that we are able to read now centuries later, we can hear in their words, not, oh, you have to be grateful, or you should be grateful, you should say thank you. But you can hear in their words a sense of gratitude for whatever is taking place in their lives. Again, we can't say to the people in Lahaina, oh, you should be grateful because all of this stuff is coming into Maui. That's not the point. The point that in our experience as human beings, we can find, even in the most difficult of times, something that supports us, provides us with the opportunity to live our life. And for that, we can be indeed truly grateful. In Jodo Shinshu, wisdom and compassion, well, all Buddhism, wisdom and compassion are the central components of enlightenment. For Amida Buddha, the raised hand representing wisdom, the Lord hand, compassion. Shinran begins his Shoshinge with Kimyo Muryo Junirai Namo Fukashiki Ko, the Buddha of infinite life, infinite light, immeasurable life, infinite light. That we are all contained within. And that assurance of Amida Buddha, as expressed in his Amida's vows, affirming us, assuring us of the eventual resolution of difficulty. In Jodo Shinshu, we can allow ourselves to be carried by the life that surrounds us. Being carried by that life, we are grateful when we consider and think about our circumstances, our relationship to the world around us. This letter by Daniel, again, let me read again this brief passage. There's actually a lot more that precedes that. This is just part of a paragraph. There's a lot more that precedes this. If you get a chance, take a look at the letters of Daniel. This is, again, from letter 2. And this section, this portion reads, whenever you say the Nembutsu, whether walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, you should remember that this is the Nembutsu to express your gratitude for the benevolence of Amida Tathagata. Then you are called practicers who have attained the true and trusting heart and whose birth has been settled. There are several projects, and I think we can get more information about that as we, during the announcements, but Betsuin is involved in trying to put some resources together to help the people in Hawaii. Thank you very much, everyone. As we conclude, will you please join in Gassho and Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinban. Okay, please rise for Gatha Ondokusan II on page 76 in the small Dharma school service book, 76.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Okay, are there any announcements?
Good morning. It was weird when Rinban said, "Oh, somebody's going to make an announcement." He looked right at me, so I'm going, I guess I have to go up there. It's kind of weird. Last week, my wife and I, we walk every day for about an hour to start during the pandemic. But last Sunday, after while we were walking, she asked me, "Why wasn't Rinban at the service Sunday?" I'm going, I guess Rinban doesn't remember he was at the service either, apparently. I'm going, no, he was there. He was sitting on the left. She didn't see him because he wasn't over here in the greeting line afterwards. He was over on the other side. I don't know what he was doing. I don't think he remembers what he was doing, apparently. But anyway, let's see. So it's the last week of August, and so I figured I'd talk about some things that are happening next month in September. So, as you know, last week I announced the fundraiser we're doing next Sunday on the 3rd for the Lahaina disaster relief, where we're doing the plate lunch special. I'd like to thank all of you who have responded to that. It was amazing. Within 2 days, we had over 140 lunches purchased. So right now, it's over 260. We were hoping for 200. The crew, I guess we're going to have to do more now. So anyway, the deadline to do that is in 2 days, I think, on the 28th. So if you intend to do that, please put your order in. You can do that online or through mail. And thank you for everybody who also made donations towards that. So in addition to that, in the Dharma newsletter that's going out this week, there's a Betsuin disaster relief letter. So this one will be targeted more to help the Lahaina Honganji that burned down. So that's a separate fundraiser going to the disaster relief committee. This is weird. I usually don't have paper with me. I usually do everything from my head, but I'm actually less organized when I have the paper, apparently. Let's see. On the 10th of September, in 2 weeks, will be our first day of Dharma school. So it'll be great to have all the kids back here and all the Dharma school teachers and staff back. And we'll have our annual organization day where organizations from YBA to the Scouts and other groups, ABBA probably, and BWA maybe, I don't know. But a lot of organizations will have tables out in the gym. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with some of our offerings, that's a great way to see what we offer every day of the year. And then on the 17th, the following Sunday is I think that's our Ohigan service. So I believe that's our Ohigan service, but I'm also here to announce that's our annual Kato Kai event. So Kato Kai is our event where we honor our Sangha members who are 80 and older. And so we've been doing, during the pandemic, we've been making deliveries because we didn't want to gather together. But prior to that, we were having events in the gym where we would, anyone 80 and over is entitled to a free lunch, and it's just a chance to get together and talk stories and all that kind of stuff. So this year we're doing it back in person. We're not doing deliveries. And so the deadline for that is the 10th of September. So for those of you who are going to participate in that, please get your order or RSVP in by the 10th. And again, it's free for those of you who are 80 and over. And for people like me, it's $15 each. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning. Wow, there's more people here today than usual. But a little bird told me there's a reason for that, because those people who went to Japan are having a little reunion, and they're going to be able to see their creative pottery pieces. So it's nice to see you here. I have two announcements. The first one is, how many of you signed up for Dr. Reverend Ken Tanaka's fireside chat? Nobody? Oh, good. Okay, good. So that's going to begin in September, once a month, and it is going to be done by lay people as well as ministers within the BCA. And so that will be starting in September and will run through March of 2024. The second announcement is Sangha Support Committee has been feeding homeless men and women at the Julian Street Inn for many years. We stopped because of the pandemic, and we are going to begin again next month. So if you are interested in helping out, I could use your help. We do the third Friday of each month from September through May 2024. And what we do is we make hot lunches for homeless men and women at the Julian Street Inn. We cook here at the Betsuin kitchen, and then we feed them over at Julian Street Inn. So if you are interested in helping out, please see me after service. Thank you very much.
you, Sumi. Not really. Yeah, I have an announcement about next week. So we have a guest speaker from Japan. Uh, the name of the guest speaker is Reverend Gie Sasaki. He was born and raised in Japan, and then he has a special doctrinal title called Shikyo, which is the kind of second highest doctrinal title in Jodo Shinshu. He's really smart, and then he taught me the Jodo Shinshu doctrine when I was at the Chuo Bukkyo Gakuin Buddhist Seminary in Kyoto. So he's coming as a student this time, so it's kind of awkward. So yeah, right. So he's now staying at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley, for a month to attend the IMOP program, which is the International Ministerial Orientation Program. I joined the before being assigned to this temple as a student like him. So this will be the opportunity for me for him to visit the many temples in BCA to see how the life in America in the temple life is like. So please see him next week, September 3rd. It's already September? Yes, September 3rd, 10 o'clock. He's coming over here to give his appreciation of Nembutsu with us. Yeah, thank you. All right. Thank you, Rinban Sakamoto and Sumi Tanabe, Minister's Assistants, and to Organist Mas Nishimura. Thank you, everybody, for attending this morning's service. We'll now have closing Gassho. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Okay, thank you. So please come forward for the incense offering. Thank you.
Right, right.
So he just sat
He
there.
just sat over there. Because I had seen him before in the office, and you had asked Michael, Mike, are you going to be the whatever today? In Japanese, which basically was, are you basically in charge